You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phone. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 17th day of May, 2019. Thanks for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now, with us. Got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you can't see the chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds, and that will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. Now, there will be times you find yourself out of the office, away from the desktop, perhaps on vacation. It could happen, right? I mean, it could. Probably won't, but it might. So anyway, go to youtube.com/CFRN/live during the live broadcast, and there you will find in real time a live simulcast of this very show, thanks to the good folks at YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. All right. S&P 500 Emini Futures. Now, I'm always telling you on Thursdays when I break out the weekly trading zones for the community at large, partners and passport holders, they have those zones in their inbox every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now, we've been publishing these zones with no changes to how it's done since December 14th of 2009. I know, it stuns me too. Now, when the zones come out at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, all of the partners, the passport holders, they have an opportunity to get them onto their charts before Wall Street even wakes up. The important thing about the zones is once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. We don't change them, massage them, manipulate them. They are what they are. And I always tell you on Thursdays when I'm, giving them to the community at large, hang on to these, jot them down, because tomorrow, Friday, it could be beneficial. Sunday night on the Globex Open, it might help you. It could even be powerful on a Monday or a Tuesday of the following week, because the zones have what I call carryover power. Okay? Sometimes they'll still be good on a Wednesday. Every now and then, they're still holding on a Thursday. And by golly, sometimes, like this time, today, here's the last week zone holding firm on Friday. This zone has been in play all week. Back it up here just a touch. Okay. Touch it one more time. Okay, let's try this. We'll do it this way. And then again, maybe we won't. What's going on? I've been having some issues with my platform today, and I don't think I think it's Dwayne's fault. Well, it's Dwayne's computer's fault. I can't even change the time right now. Let me draw the circle, but I can't change the time. Okay, well then, I'll just leave it there. If I could scroll back to the Sunday night Globex Open, where we gapped lower on the open substantially, and finally closing. We had a gap alert in the Logic 247 for the S&P, for the Dow, for the Russell, and for the NASDAQ. And those gaps on the indices, futures, almost always close. By and large, they will close on the same night or at least by the next day. But we did not close. We were not able to participate in the gap fill alert until yesterday. And you can see it right here. Now, if you thought that was a parabolic move yesterday, look at this thing. It's like a rocket ship. So, I better let Michael do his thing, because I think he's got to be somewhere. Let me give you the cash numbers real quick. Starting here in the U.S., cash numbers, the Dow currently down 12 points, NASDAQ down 40, S&P 500 down 6, and the Russell 2000 down almost 10. It is 10. Okay, now, we got no movers, no shakers in the whole bunch. In the commodity basket, crude oil is down a dime on the day, trading 62.77 the last. Gold getting whacked again today, down $8.89, trading 12.77.30 last. And just when you think you're going to go back over $1,300 and stick, you don't. So, in the Asian markets, at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain today of 187 points. Shanghai lost 73, and the Hang Seng lost 328 points on the session. For the Hang Seng, that's a little over 1%. For the Shanghai, it's 2.5%. In the European markets, the FTSE lost 5 points on the session. The DAX shed 71, and the CAC lost 10. No movers, no shakers. It was a mixed day in Asia, a red day in the UK, and right here, right now, it's a big red Radio Friday in the US of A. So there you have it. We're going to go to Michael, get a recap of what happened in the live training room. When I come back, we'll take a look at some alerts, and we'll talk to John, and of course, we, as always, will have answers to your questions. But you got to put the question in the chat box first, and then we'll have an answer. Is that how that works, Mike? They put the question in
how it works.
first.
It'd be great
Okay.
if somebody could type something in there right now, so I can put the link to the 1:15 meeting today.
Oh, that's right. It's Friday. Oh, okay. At least my charts kind of moved. I don't.
Yeah.
Have you had any platform issues today?
No. Nope.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because I'm running that other platform in the background. That's possible. Maybe. No, because I don't have a chart up. I closed the chart. I do believe.
What if you flip to another tab?
If
The
I
other tabs
flip
all
to
doing the same thing?
Another tab.
They all doing this? Yeah, they're all doing the same thing. It's weird.
That is. Let me bump it up to a large time. Let me go date. No, it won't let me change time.
You can't. Yeah, you can't do that. That's what I was looking at. Why is that grayed out? That's weird.
Yeah.
At least it's
And
grayed
what
out
I
on
found,
the
a lot of
30
times, you know how we always have those issues with that open window somewhere? The last few times that's happened, I've resolved it by just simply hitting the escape key on my keyboard. And it cleared it right up.
The escape key.
I was trying to
I
find
just restarted
now.
GT Pro the last time it happened to me.
For those of you that were not in the live training room today, we all know that Gain Capital, iBroker, has an app for your phone and for your tablet. They also have a platform now for your browser. So if you have an account with Daniel's Trading, if you use DT Pro, if your business is cleared through Gain Capital, if you find yourself away from the office, away from the desktop, away from the phone, well, you can go to somebody else's browser. You can log into your account, both the demo and the live account. And if you click on, like this one, the S&P 500, well, it opens you up a chart of the S&P 500. And if you just want to see the chart and not all this stuff over here, you click it right there. And there you go, daily chart. Now, our proprietary indicators don't run on this platform yet because we haven't begged and pleaded with them to put it in there, but I'm going to shoot an email off to somebody and ask them, is it possible, and would they do it? I think that would be great. You can trade, your SEM accounts, you can trade here with this. So it's nice to know we have options and you got something to fall back on in case your regular platform won't let you change the time. So, all right, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm going to take it over here.
Take
I
it
haven't done
away.
it yet.
It's all yours.
Okay. Here we go. You should be looking at the spreadsheet. Yes, you are.
Now, I'm going to be, I'm leaving in the morning to go to Puerto Penasco. It's been 20 years since we opened the mission down there. My wife and I bought the old property with a house and a church on it and spruced it up. And it's been serving the community, the barrio, for a long time. So some ministry friends of ours, we're all getting together down there for like a celebratory dinner, shake each other's hand, pat each other on the back, because God has done some good things through us. I won't take credit for any of it, but yeah, he did some terrific stuff. And if he can use me, whoa, he can use anybody. So if you're sitting out there going, oh, I wish I did stuff like that, well, you can. You just got to, turn Springer off, depart the couch. There's a whole world out there waiting for you. Do not live your life vicariously through other men, through preachers. No, go have your own God experiences. That's why he created you, to fellowship and be in relationship with him. So we'll talk more about that when I come back. And I think I got some pictures of, we're letting Young Life. Our mission is now the first Young Life in all of Mexico. And I think I got some pictures. I'll show them to you when I come back. It's all yours, Michael.
Okay. I got it. All right. Big sigh. All right, here we go, guys. Today is Friday, the 17th day of May, 2019. Let's see, today, well, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're going to be able to see CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. And today we made 2 ticks in crude, 3 ticks in gold, and 8 ticks on the ES. We actually made 3 ticks in crude, but that last one was at the very end, and so I'm not going to count that. Today it took 23 minutes in 1 trade to get to $100 a contract, and we took a total of 9 trade opportunities. In 3 days this week, we made it in 1 trade. Knocking on wood. On the month now, we're at 2,127. That's over 13 days, averaging 163 per day. And on the year, we're at 10,667. That's over 87 days, averaging 122 per day. So this is very likely going to be our best month this year because we still have, well, we have the holiday, and I have to take 2 other days off, but we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 business days left. So we have 8 business days left. So this is going to be our best month of the year. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net, and over here in the right-hand column, it says 5-day free trial applied at CFRN.net. You click on that, and it's going to bring you to this page, where all you have to do is really follow the instructions. All we ask for is your name, your email, your phone. Biggest challenge with trading, hit the send button, and then we will get back to you. And we'll send you all the information that you need to get into the live training room. Okay? And, whatever else we happen to have going on. Like right now, we have an open house for the Logic 24/7. We sent all the information you need for all that stuff. Okay? That is fancy looking. All right. And with that, I got a voicemail. Wow. This looked like a huge downtrend, but we should have had a ton of trades, but sadly we didn't. On gold, it started out over here. Okay. And this was a little pre-market. That would have been a shorting opportunity right there. Okay. And then it got in here, and there should have been a short right here. Why didn't I do that? There should have been a short right there. Right there. Over here, the slingshot wasn't letting it happen. Then once the slingshot got fixed, or back to showing bearish separation, we picked up a trade right here for 3 ticks. It continued down. And we had to break this dynamic support here before we take another one. I think the reason we didn't do that is because it was going into the low of the day. That's what it was. See, because that's why we didn't do this right in here. It was going into the low of the day. It changed directions during the break, but didn't give a trade setup. So we ended up with +3 on the gold this morning. The euro. Let's see. On the euro, we just had this one trade right here that we took that was a break even, and this one right here was a momentum short. It gave some profit opportunity. This one over here, it would have been a break even. And during the break, well, it moved up, but did it give any trading opportunities? Yeah, I guess it did. I bounced off the BBC right here for the leg up. Okay, and that was the euro today. Now let's look at the pre-market. Yeah, not a lot happening. Not a lot happening in the pre-market there. Okay, in crude oil. Today, crude, well, 61.70 is what I said to look for this morning. When price was up here at 63.80 or 63.70 something. Well, it was actually 63.82. I said 61.70 is the price to look for over the next week. I could have given some put option recommendations at that time, but anyway, this right here was the first trade opportunity on the crude right here. Didn't go anywhere. That would have stopped out. This was the second, and didn't go anywhere, and that would have stopped out. And then this one we finally got into, and we picked up 4 ticks. We missed this one that would have given you some profit. We grabbed this one that stopped me out to the tick. And so at that point I was at -4. Then I had a break even here. I picked up 2 ticks there to get me to -2. And there was one more trade in here where I shorted Crude. I think it was right in here. And I picked up 4 ticks to get me to +2. So it was +2 on Crude. And then there was one more at the end, right down here at the end of the session, right here, where I actually got into it, but we were doing a lot of stuff that we don't normally do at the end of the session, and going over some things that we don't normally do, and I put the trade on, but I didn't have the charts, so I didn't count it, and I picked up 1 tick on that one. During the break, let's see. Okay, during the break, there was a shorting opportunity here. Now, this is assuming it wasn't going into the low of the day because I wasn't watching it. But there was a shorting opportunity here and here. And then it just flipped directions recently. And we had a long opportunity right here. And it's trying to give us another long right now. It would have to close above that trend line. Okay. That's what you'd be looking for. All right, on the ES, let's scroll all the way back on the ES today. All right, the ES started out, it was pretty active, and I was suggesting that it was going to head up to this weekly trading zone up here, which it eventually did. Trade setups on the way up there. There was one right here at 935. Right there, and that would have been a close above this trend line. Actually, it would have been there on the close above that trend line. And that would have been a break even for me if I'd have done it. And there was nothing else you could do. There was one momentum long trade right here to get up into the zone, but it didn't actually hit the zone. Okay, then it changed directions and it started coming back. And we jumped in a short right here and we picked up 8 ticks. I missed that long right there. And I was thinking that was going up to the zone, but it didn't make it. But I missed it anyway. And we had a break even right here. Then it got really choppy. We had a momentum short here that I missed and a long trade here that I figured was going into the zone like I did the last one. And it did make it up into the zone, but I missed that one. Gosh, I guess I missed a bunch. I missed that one too. And I remember drawing that and moving it. We ended up with a break even over here. Now in this area right here, there was one long trade right here. Okay, and then it was trading above the BBC, and the slingshot's not letting you get into anything until you get over here, where the green line is above the cycle down here. Okay, and we needed a down close below the trend line or bounce off the BBC. We got the down close below the trend line. We got a break even on that. It came up, it hit the BBC, but the cycle changed colors. So we didn't end up with the trade set up there. And now we're into the break. And let's see. During the break, yeah, there was nothing you could do in there. Nothing you can do in there. Right here, this is it. Bounce off the BBC right here for about a point. Changing directions right now. You got to watch out for the dynamic support and the weekly trading zone right down below. But you can see it went from, well, here, let me back it out. The low of the day is down here at 52. I think the next zone down is at 38, 37, 38, something like that. But it went up, went through the zone, consolidated at the zone, came back to the zone, bounced off it, and came back to it again. We have really wide zones this week because of the activity we had last week. But anyway, we ended with the ES +8 on the ES. a couple of trades. Okay, so let's go back here to this and this and the spreadsheet. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 17th day of May, 2019. Made 2 ticks on crude, 3 ticks on gold, and 8 ticks on the ES, plus 150 on the morning session. Okay. Today, it took 23 minutes and 1 trade to get to $100 a contract, and we had a total of 9 trade opportunities. On the month now, we're at 2,127. That's over 13 days, averaging 163 per day. And we started out, with a daily average of like, $60, something like that. And now we have a daily average of 163. On the year now, we're at 10,667. That's over 87 days, averaging 122 per day. Okay. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. And right over here on the right-hand side, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that, and you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for, if you scroll down, there's a whole bunch of information on the page, but all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number, and your biggest trading challenge. But there's a bunch of information on there. Okay. And if you go to the open house, well, that's ending today. So there's a bunch of stuff here on this page. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a file that they need to download. And, typically you could just, have them send an email to support if they're trading Ninja. And I got to know Ninja 7 or Ninja 8. And then, and we're going to have to find a way. Well, I mean, I know how. But if we're going to port stuff over from the other site to this one, then there's just a couple of things that they need to be able to download for Ninja 8.
Yeah, if you just make me aware of whatever it is, because that was the only thing I could remember was that one page. And I think I asked last night in the workshop if there was anything that passport holders and partners regularly have to go to the site to retrieve, and I don't think there is. So, but if you come up, whatever you come up with, I'll move it over.
Yeah, the problem is I can't email it anymore because they don't let us email DLLs or executables. So that stuff will never get to them.
Oh, well, here's the thing. We have email service. That site has its own like built-in email thing, so you could probably email it from there. It just Val, she got to show me too. She set it all up.
Okay.
Great job, Val.
Okay. Yeah, good job. Looks nice. Excuse me. Okay. So with that, I can pass it back out to Studio A in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. There.
Okay, I think John just popped in.
Let me check.
So let me grab the charts.
Yep, he did.
And I was gonna pull up. Vita Hoven, because I got pictures. If I get a browser. Whoa, I got too many browser windows open. That's a lot. Let's see real quick, because John wants to see this too.
Okay, I'll open his mic up.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, thanks. Recap of the recap.
Today it took 1 trade, 23 minutes, $100 a contract.
Nice. Now let's see if I can remember how to spell it. V-I-D-A. Vita Hoven Panasco. Yep. Okay. So we ran the place. Well, we kind of restored it and ran the place for a while. And then, because my wife and I, we used to go down every other weekend for years. And then some things, we weren't able to go as often. And so we turned it over to these nice people, this group that we met. They wanted to open a Young Life in Mexico, but they didn't have a place. We had a place, so everything worked out just fine. Now let me drag this up here and see if I can show a picture. I'm not real big on the... Would I go here? I just searched on them, and that's the name of the Young Life. Maybe that's what Vita Hovine. I guess that.
Just click on it and see what comes up. There it is, recent photos.
Oh, where'd you see that? Is that nice or what? I mean, it's out in the barrio. It's not the best part of town, but
Yeah, that's
Boy.
a lot of people.
You know, God will use you if you let Him. If you agree to it. You don't have to be smart or clever or tall or have money. None of that, because you got God. And if you just say, "Ooh, you take over," He will. They do plays, and everybody plays the guitar around a campfire. And I mean, it's just that kind of deal.
Yeah, sounds nice.
Yeah, I know there's more pictures somewhere. Where do you see that picture? Oh, photos. Oh, I guess. Oh, they had a gala, a noche de gala. Huh. Wow. Man, we haven't been down now. I think it's been a couple of years. So it'll be exciting to go there, out there tomorrow, just to see, all that's been done. And
How far away is it?
from door to door, it's a 4-hour drive.
Okay. So
And
it's not
it's-
too bad. You're going to spend the weekend?
Well, we're going to go in the morning. We'll spend the night Saturday night. Oh, guys, I probably won't be back. In fact, I know I won't be back for the Globex Open Sunday night, but I will be back Sunday night. And as soon as I do get back, I'm thinking it'll probably be 10 or 11 Eastern Sunday night. But I will come straight into the office and I'll get everything done. So don't worry, it'll get done. This will be the first time I've missed the Globex Open since we rolled out Logic 247. Okay. All right, so let me get this out of the way. John, are you there?
His mic's open. I don't know if he's there.
You know what? I can't. I got this browser trapped up here. I can't seem to move it.
Can you just
Doing
click on the chart
situ-
behind it?
Man. That's why they pay you the big bucks. Okay. I would have never figured that out, I guess. All right. So, John's not there, man. All right, guys. Then we'll just start talking about alerts. Now, I'm happy to announce Valerie has learned how to do the recap, because sometimes with all the alerts in the channel, especially when we're doing a trial and I got to remember to post stuff in both places, I get behind on the recap, and after 48 hours, you can't post a recap. You can't edit a post. You can't add to it. So, Valerie, are you there?
I am.
You are. So how did it go? I mean, do you think you got it? I know you want me to check it. I haven't had a chance to check it yet. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's good to go.
Good to go.
Just want your seal of approval.
Sure. No, I will.
My
I'll go
60
through 'em.
my 60%ers would be the question there.
Oh, trust me, if you got something wrong, we got folks that'll let you know.
Somebody let me know.
We
Okay,
got
good.
folks that let you know. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That works
Okay.
for me.
Week 41, and it's been now. Most of you have been around. A lot of you have been around since we rolled out Logic 247. 41 weeks ago. That's almost a year. And
We need to have some type of celebration or
And I
promotion or
just,
something.
the last alert I posted this morning, is that right? Is that today? Yeah, 17th. Alert number 1,909. That's almost 2,000 times that I've sat down, studied the chart, rubbed my little rabbit's foot. I'm kidding. And did the stuff, and that's a lot. I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm just sort of amazed. When you keep your head down and just press on, it's amazing what man can accomplish. It really is. Not by his own devices, but here, I mean, it's really the grace of God. The fact that this has all come together so nicely. Hand in a glove, we learned about the telegram as we were breaking out the Logic 247. It's been a wonderful journey, and some of you have been with us every step of the way since we rolled out. You were in the beta. You became a passport holder. Speaking of, it has been brought to my attention that there are folks who maybe aren't a regular part of the CFRN community. They're just, they're kind of out there on the periphery, looking over here to see what those Christians are up to now. And they keep taking the Logic 247 trial because, well, they kind of like the free alerts. But that's not really the purpose of the trial. The trial is so that you can see it, experience it, begin to understand it, and then if you want to learn it, then of course, we're prepared to teach it. So we're finishing up today a 3-day trial of the Logic 247 Emini Alert Service. And this will be, when we wrap up today, this will be the last public trial, okay? Because it's not fair to those who are passport holders, and have invested their time and treasure into this venture, for other people to be able to come in and just surf over their shoulder and get the same stuff. So we can't do that. So what will I do different? I'm not even going to go into that. I'm just going to say that this we'll still continue to do open houses, and we'll still have the trial in the live training room each day. But because of everything I just said, I can't do public trials of the Logic 247 anymore, and that makes me a little bit sad. But it is what it is. So there you go. All right, you got to take off. Are you hanging?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm waiting for John to come on.
Oh yeah, because he rang my phone. Well, maybe I should bump him back. He jingled my phone.
Yeah, because Frederick just has a question in there for him.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I don't think so, Frederick. But I'll find out. I'll find out for you if he doesn't pop in. But I know he's going to pop in here in a second. John, you there?
At the tone, please leave a message for.
Okay. All right. Well, we tried. Okay, so week 41. Where is it? Oh, the 41's below. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this before, and maybe you know or don't know or could care less. Google Plus is no more. Gone. Now, the way they ended it was kind of weird. I can still access it, and anyone with a CFRN.net email address can access it, but the rest of the world can't. All the information's still there. Anyway, I said all that to say this. One day, I sat out at my desk. I was looking for something on the internet, just kind of minding my own business like I do. And I stumbled across this. And I don't know these people, the Trader HQ. 12 Google Plus pages every trader should follow. And so I clicked it. Like that. Or maybe it was like that. Uh-oh. Huh. Well, I'll worry about that later. I'll just copy the URL. That's Universal Resource Locator, in case you're wondering. But you probably weren't. I'll bring up a browser window. Hey, did you get that that user ID and password I sent you? We were talking about it last night.
I got a user ID, but I don't think I got the password.
Well, it's the same one. So yeah, it's in the Telegram channel. Yeah, I thought I did. 12 Google Plus pages.
I'll go check.
Every trader should follow. So I was very interested, like anyone would be. You know, I said, oh, okay. Greg Harmon came in at number 1. The Mercenary Trader came in at number 2. Mike McDermott. Dan Chapman over at StockConsultant.com, number 3. And I almost fell out of my chair. It is quite comical when you stumble up on yourself on the internet when you're not expecting it. It's like when you round the corner at the mall and there's this huge plate glass window and you weren't expecting that to be there, so you haven't had a chance to suck in the belly and throw the shoulders back, put the chest out, and tilt your head just that way you do, when you're trying to look at yourself. Filters on, shields up. I just sat here and I'm like, is this a joke? Oh, yeah, thanks, John. This is all that, Google Plus is gone.
Whose list is this?
This is a company called Trader HQ. Yeah. So it's not advertisement. It's not a commercial. They just wrote this article, and somehow I got in it.
Good for you. Greg Harmon.
Now look who's coming up. Look who's coming up after me. Scott Trade.
Oh, okay.
White House. Federal Reserve. Option Monster.
That's be ahead of them. That's a big deal. Option Monster are big.
Yeah, they are. I thought Barack was on here. I guess it's been so long since I looked at it. He's in one of the pictures. Oh, it was the White House. That's when this came out when he was still president. So, but Google Plus is gone. All the time and energy we put into our Google Plus page, there was easily a few thousand hours of video content and articles that I'd written and charts that I had notated and lessons that I had taught, and they just made it go away. I can still get there, but I don't know. I don't think there's any way for me to forward it somewhere else or download all the stuff. So yeah. No sense to be upset over it because I can't do anything about it. So how are you today, John? Welcome to the show.
If you remember what I said yesterday afternoon, to sell right at the high.
Yeah.
Of the market, and it went down quite a bit overnight. It's bounced back, but it's coming off again. I would say we're still slightly on the bullish side. In terms of we could still have a rally this afternoon, but obviously something clobbered the market pretty strongly, overnight. And look, if we break down from here, it's not going to be good, plain and simple. But I think we've still got a reprieve. It doesn't look too bad on the daily and the weekly, for that matter.
Are you talking S&P, John?
Yeah. The weekly actually looks.
I got
pretty,
weekly right here. Here's weekly.
Yeah, this weekly. I mean,
hey, that looks poised for a bounce right there.
It sure does. The weekly, as it is kind of pretty bullish, frankly. However, we've seen this movie once before. I think this happened back in the fall. Right after the October high. And it looked like we were going to have a big rally, and it fell over, and then, of course, once that happened, everything came apart. If we fall over from this, it won't be good, because if we take out this,
it won't.
Yeah, if we take out that weekly low, we could go all the way down to about 26.50, somewhere like that. Mm-hmm. So, and that wouldn't necessarily be too bad, but it would be kind of a head and shoulders deal. But if the 2800 is where it where it got to, and we're closing obviously well above that today, it's not a bad place to be. And actually, if we can clear the 2890 area, this thing could really go, it could get back that vigor that it had yesterday. But, having seen that vigor yesterday and then see it come off this much, if you look at the last few days, we've had a kind of a down open followed by a big rally each day, almost every day this week. If you just bought the dips every day this week, you did real well.
Right.
So, it's just, is this the beginning of something where we're going to go into some sort of a mini third wave to the upside here? Could do. There's this looming issue of the Iranian stuff going on. If something happened, anything could happen. You could have, remember the last time they strayed into Iranian waters, got arrested. If you had something
was
like
that
that happen.
Was that the USS Cole?
No, that was ages ago. That was back in 2000.
Okay.
This was when those guys were in inflatables, and they strayed into
yes.
some,
I remember.
Something like that would be very difficult for Trump to get out of. And then if there was an accident, I mean, look, just attacking these ships alone, they obviously did it under the guise of the Houthi people from Yemen. So you can't necessarily blame it on Iran, even though it's probably them behind it. But if something escalates, that was a pretty savage attack. I mean, this wasn't any game. These ships got damaged pretty badly, and pipelines as well. I mean, can you imagine? They took them out with a drone, these pipelines. So and that's a sneaky thing that, remember there was a drone went down in Iran a few years ago, and I guess they ripped off the technology and they've got their own drones now. So they've obviously demonstrated their capabilities, and who knows what could happen. I mean, some of these generals are out of control, just like some of these Chinese generals saying the same thing. So if something happens, I would imagine there'd be a very rapid response to any kind of provocation or actual attack of some sort. So there's a real possibility something like that might happen over the weekend, and you get another like 500 point down day on Sunday night. I think if we get another one of those, it might have a lot further downside.
Right.
The metals, if you look at Newmont and even and Royal Gold, that are usually the leaders, they're actually up for the second week, in spite of the fact that gold is down. So that's quite kind of a positive sign. The GDX and the GDXJ are looking like they could potentially turn up from here. If they were to turn up, I think it would be very constructive. It might mean the lows are in, and a couple of.
Did you say GDXJ?
GDXJ. That's the juniors.
Okay.
GDXJ.
Okay. Gotcha.
So you just have to see how play it by ear. But there's been a couple of very bullish reports came out on gold in the last few days. Sometimes when that happens, they take them down a notch first before the bullish forces take over. Obviously, if there's any kind of a confrontation with Iran over the weekend, you could come in and have $100 higher gold price. But we'll just have to. I mean, wars tend to start suddenly and without warning. And
do you really think they're prepared to be the aggressor here?
Like I said, you've got these out of control generals. You never know; they could pull. I mean, somebody already pulled a pretty big stunt with these ships getting attacked, and they said a while ago they were going to start making. There was a time back in the '79.
They would keep their enriched uranium and I heard.
Yeah, you remember something when they attacked a lot of ships in the Hormuz Strait?
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of, I mean, they were paying the crews danger money, 4 times just to sail through those areas. So it could happen again, and they've sort of been dropping some pretty big hints in that direction. So I don't think I really don't think they would send a carrier strike group unless they had something pretty, whatever the intel is.
The threat's pretty credible. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
Hey, you mentioned a drone a minute ago, John. Have you ever flown one of these little drones yourself?
we just borrowed somebody's and we just fooled around with it. Yeah. Why?
Did you have any success at all?
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh my goodness! My son and I, we've crashed and destroyed 2 or 3, and the one that we did get to fly, it started climbing, and I said, "Hey, Gabe, I think you better bring it back." I said, "Gabe, I think you better bring it back." And it just kept going and going and going till there was a tiny little speck in the sky, and then it just disappeared. I don't know if it imploded or what happened, but but Tuesday night at the Fox Summit in Scottsdale, and they had a sign when you came in that says, "We are taking pictures. This is being video recorded," and if you come in, you're saying it's okay to use your likeness, etc. But I don't know who was flying those drones, but man, they were good. They get to bring those things down, turn them on a dime, get around in front of somebody, take their picture or the video, whatever they were doing. I was just amazed to sit there and watch this thing dance around the sky, knowing in my hands it would have taken about 30 seconds to put it in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
It was an outdoors event, which was very nice. The weather here is so pleasant right now. I know that's subject to change real quick. But you asked me the other day if the weather was nice here, and it continues to be unseasonably nice.
I think it's still snowing in Reno area, or still pretty cold there.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what are we up to? So the oil coming off a bit, just like with the market. This guy who's very good on, he used to be the chief executive of Shell. Forget his last name. Hochmeister, I think his name is. He was saying that one of the issues is the refineries, because they're not getting heavy crude from Venezuela and not even from Mexico at the moment. The refineries are not operating at full output. And the stuff that's coming out of the Permian Basin is a very viscous light crude that gets exported because they can't process it. They're not set up to they don't have refineries that can handle it. So there are some interesting issues. He just says that he thinks that the price of gasoline and probably crude will continue to edge higher, into Memorial Day. He said into the summer, but usually after Memorial Day, it tends to drop off. Obviously, this business with the Persian Gulf could affect prices as well, possibly dramatically. So it's another thing to keep in mind. And it's just, we've been talking about this for a while. This first quarter rally and its continuation into the Memorial Day is, basically the second quarter is just a phenomenon that almost always seems to produce higher prices for metals. Sorry, for crude. Now, the beans pulled back, but the wheat and corn are continuing to be strong. Actually, there's something that's happened with the corn where they've only planted 30%, and all other years by this stage they've already planted about 66% or something. So there's a possibility that the corn crop might be less than expected. And there's also this flood damage that's an unknown that may be helping the grain prices. So we've pulled back a bit on the meal and the beans. is this the rally? Is this just another rally that gets sold, like we talked about yesterday? It could be. I think if we break down any more from about 825 below, we're probably going to go back down and test the 800 again on the beans. But it is a more constructive picture today because of the strength in the wheat and the corn than we've seen in some time. So I think if the meal and the beans were to recover here, it'd probably be get back on the buy side. The rest of the sector, everything. Look, the coffee's down, slumping again. The whole commodity index is really looking pretty grim at the moment.
Now, didn't you tell me or tell us a few days ago that, I don't know if was it Jim Rogers or somebody said that we were headed for the biggest commodity boom in history?
That was actually Doug Casey.
Oh, okay.
Doug Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that still on?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit longer to get going, but the dollar has put a kibosh on that right now. It's almost back to the highs, but we could be looking at a double top in the dollar if it were to break down from here. So I think it's you've got it's up to the look, the currencies are looking pretty grim at the moment. The British pound, for God's sake, is back to 127.50. It's just terrible. And you got Nigel Farage is soared to the top of all the, he's created a Brexit party, and he's ahead of Labour and the Tories combined. This guy. So I think the market, the currency is reflecting more and more the likelihood that there is going to be an exit from Europe.
It's inevitable, right?
I wouldn't put it that clearly just yet. I think it's certainly more probable, highly probable at this point, unless they. And also, look, apparently Theresa May is going to resign next month. So does that mean Boris Johnson gets in? If Boris Johnson gets in, he's a Brexiter basically. So it's more and I think Farage might get back into a cabinet position. So it just fortifies the Brexit argument. And I think it's just, I think the Brits have just decided, listen, they've lived through it for a couple of thousand years, without being in Europe, and they can do it again. They just giving up on Europe, not necessarily from a trade standpoint, but from a political, from a governmental standpoint of being part of the political apparatus. Mm-hmm. And the sovereign aspect, they want to remain out. But there are problems. There's the issue with Ireland. It's kind of how anybody would want to be for Brexit right now when the currency in the UK is half the value of the Irish pound. Nobody in the world ever predicted that. Sorry, the Irish euro, the euro, right. The GDP, the GDP of the UK. It's about 80,000 in Ireland, and it's about 44,000 in the UK. It's a kind of a no-brainer to want to stay in Europe. Look, I think this is a temporary thing. I think at some point the pound will recover, and it might, sometime down the road, it might get back to $2 again. Stranger things have happened. So, and the Brits today, Britain today is doing tremendously well. It's in the same groove as the US.
Do they still have the problem with youth unemployment? Now, that was a really big deal at one point. The kids were setting cars on fire and doing all kinds of stuff because they.
No, look, there's still a lot of truancy and stuff, mm-hmm. But I think it's a lot better than it's.
Than
I mean,
it was.
yeah. I mean, look, unemployment is sort of in the same groove as the U.S. It's down at 1974 levels. All-time record lows in unemployment in the UK. Pretty close to it. Not necessarily quite as good as the U.S. But certainly down there. I think there's about 700,000 people out of work in the UK, maybe less. That's about double what it was 50, 60 years ago. And when you adjust, for the population increase, etc., we're pretty much at all-time lows, or we're certainly close to all-time lows. So, and just in the last couple of days, the Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar have been beaten down pretty badly, but they may be turning here too. This could be getting dollar may be done, but if we break above 98, it's a whole different ball game, and we could do. This dollar is really, it's just you can't. It just keeps coming back.
My chart is locked up on me, John.
One thing I've got to tell you is, listen, the Chinese yuan is actually turning very negative. It's gone down 7 days in a row or something. That's actually very bullish for gold. It's not necessarily being reflected right now, but
yeah, I'm surprised to see gold down again today.
Yeah, when you've got 1.5 billion people seeing their currency go down like 5 or 6% in a very short period of time, they're probably starting to queue out, to line up outside the gold vendors like they used to before. And if it gets if we start making new lows in the Chinese yuan, look, it's great for China. It's a way of getting back against the tariffs. And they could do it more drastically. They may drop their currency 20% before it's all over. But I think that'll drag the dollar down as well when it happens, because they most of the time those two currencies are joined at the hip. But right now there's something, whether it's the weakness of the Chinese economy or the tariffs or whatever it is, it's definitely pressuring the yuan quite remarkably, actually. And if the yuan does drop 10 or 20%, it's as Doug Casey put it, it'll go from like a garden hose to a breaking dam in terms of the sheer force of buying power for the gold market. Where if people start panicking and hedging a weakening yuan.
Did you see the dive Bitcoin took?
Yeah.
And I heard some commentary that kind of volatility is what we should come to expect going forward as it works its way back up towards the all-time historic highs. The volatility is just going to be sick.
Yeah, no, I think, it's definitely, boy, just nobody saw this rally coming as dramatic as it was. Mm-hmm. And, we did call the lows back in February, if you remember, and December last year. But, I mean, we called it lows in February like a year ahead of time. So it was a secondary low, as it turned out, but it was the low. And we did say, if you remember, we talked about it going up above 5 and maybe even to 6, but it went even beyond that. So it's pretty impressive what's happened, and it does have implications for markets in general. While we've been speaking here, Royal Gold has gone positive, and Newmont has gone positive. So it's kind of interesting if we see all the golds go positive this afternoon. The problem with the gold stocks is they've been going down for the last few weeks ahead of the gold price, right? It's interesting they're going up now while the gold price is down. I would consider that to be, somewhat constructive.
Speaking of gold companies, there was a question in the audience. Someone had tried to look up Santa Fe today on their Schwab platform, and they were showing no quotes or volume. When I looked on my chart, it looked like everything was, I mean, there wasn't any big volume, but it was moving. Do you know anything?
No, it's 73,000 right now. 7.5. It's up. It's actually up about 8%. The reporting from the OTC market or something like that.
Could be, yeah. A lot of times, anything that's under $5, they don't pay it too much attention.
Exactly. So, well, listen, have a great weekend. Thank you very much,
John,
for the invite.
you bet.
And,
thank you for
we'll
everything.
Get together this weekend.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, by all means, when you have a chance. Oh, no, I'm going to Mexico this weekend. I'm going down,
Oh, you are?
yeah, to Puerto Penasco, Rocky Point,
Okay.
where we have the mission. It's been 20 years since we went down there and started that. And so we're getting together with some of the people that were been all part of it. And we were part of the church they built down there. And so we're just going to, get together, maybe have some dinner, shake each other's hand, pat each other on the back, and we'll do another 20 years. So.
Okay. Well, have a great
But I'll
trip.
be back Sunday night. I won't be here for the Globex Open. I probably won't roll back into town until probably 9 or 10 o'clock Pacific time. But I'll work through the night to get everything caught up. So.
All right, much obliged. All the
Okay,
best.
John. Take care.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. Well, guys, we got a little bit of a problem. I got a ton of stuff I want to show you, and my charts are froze up. Well, why don't you just start them back up? It's not quite that simple for me. It should be, but anyway, what I can do is what we started to do. We roll through this for a moment. Now, we start, the Logic 247 starts Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, when Dwayne's not out of town, and just goes right through to Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. The markets do close for an hour each day, here from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. But we're here, we're at the desk just waiting for it to reopen. So the alerts come around the clock whenever opportunity presents itself. Now, sometimes we may go 2, 3, 5, 6 hours and there's just no real opportunity. Last night was a real good example of that. My charts weren't. We were just grinding through here and then just grinding. Then all of a sudden, we get this directional move. And this is not the current price. I don't have any data flowing into my chart right now, so I just can't even break it down and show it to you. But if you've been on the trial, if there have been periods during this open house that you didn't see alerts coming through, it's not because we were on break, it was because there's no opportunity. Now, a lot of traders have a difficult time understanding that. What do you mean there's no opportunity? Well, when price is caught in a very small range and it's just pinging back and forth like that old game Pong, and we're talking, a couple, 3, 4 points. There's no real opportunity there. I mean, you can take a shot, you can roll the dice, but you're going to get your head handed to you. And if you don't get your head handed to you, the best that could possibly happen is you manage to scrape something out of, a 4-point range, which probably won't be the full 4 points. Now, it's really important that you as a trader, we all spend so much time, energy, treasure on, finding these optimal entries, these incredible entries. It's like that's the thing. It really isn't. A caveman could put on a trade, as the Geico commercial says. Knowing, let me just say, anybody can put on a trade. You click the mouse. What's important is knowing when not to put on a trade. Being able to look at the chart and understand that right now, the market itself is looking for direction. We come in, we look at the chart for direction, but there are times when the market itself is trying to figure out what it's going to do next. Our BBC, the green line you normally see on my chart, on this 30-minute, sometimes you'll see a situation where, I mean, it's almost a flat line, and price will pop above it and then below it. Above it and below it, above it and below it. You need to get as far away from that chart and that mouse as you possibly can, because you may have been on a roll and you've had a couple months back to back, you're in tall cotton, you've been knocking down those big bucks. You get caught up in one of those choppy little nasty markets, sideways roll where there is no opportunity, certainly no high probability opportunity. And I've heard this story so many times. Man, I was doing great for 6 months. I thought I'd really figured out how to do this. And now it's all gone in 3 days. It will happen if you don't learn to recognize when market conditions are not conducive to trading. And then you have the self-discipline to keep yourself out of that fray. Don't do it. Don't try to be too clever. Don't say, well, you know what? I'm going to figure out a way to trade this. If the range is 3-4 points and price is pinging back and forth, how are you going to? I want to see. I'll buy a ticket to come watch you do that, because there's nothing there. It's like looking for a black cat in the dark that isn't even really there. Right? Okay. It's so important. Whether you get an education with us or somewhere else, whoever you get the education from, make sure they teach you how to stay out of a market that is inhospitable. Make sure they teach you how to recognize not only when there is opportunity, but when there's no opportunity. Only an opportunity to destroy everything that you've worked so hard to build. Okay? And it will happen if you're not careful. Okay? If you need help in that area, give us a shout. You can call 949-42-EMINI. Email us support@cfrn.net. Visit us in the Telegram channel. Just go into Telegram and search Emini, and we'll pop right up. We got, I think, about 10 different channels, all serving different purposes. One's the alert channel, one's for the Concierge Trade Alerts, one's for the weekly workshop videos, one's a discussion group for the passport holders, and there's a discussion group for people on a trial. So again, just search Emini and we'll pop right to the top. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down through this pretty quick. This is how we started the trial. Now, we started Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. This trial started Wednesday afternoon. 3-day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It ends this afternoon. As soon as I close out the show, I will reboot my computer and I will reboot the charts. And so hopefully the market will hand us some more alerts this afternoon, because it's been a pretty good week. Now, if you're in the alert channel, the trial channel, if you have access because you have been part of the open house, if you did not watch this video, it's probably a good idea. It covers a lot of real basic stuff that you might just be confused or mystified by. But if you can just take a few minutes to watch this, it'll clear up a lot. Okay. And this is the link to get into the discussion group so that you can talk with me, talk with Valerie, talk with the other traders. Then we have our frequently asked question videos, and we actually have a frequently asked video channel. Okay. All right. And wrong week. I scrolled up too far. Wrong week, 41. Go all the way down and ease it back up. Okay, the 15th, Sunday was the 12th. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. There we go, week 41. Last week, Week 40, we had 41 alerts issued. 2 of those alerts never triggered, which left us with 39 actionable alerts. 31 of them reached the final target. 4 of them, a PT, a partial. What that is, in order to qualify as a PT, price must at least make it to the first target on a multi-target alert. And if there's only one target in the alert, it must go 60% or better the distance. So 4 fell into that category. 4 were stopped out. And so as a result, 10% of actionable alerts were stopped out, which is well within our parameters. The benchmark, what we've experienced over the 41 weeks, on average, 20% get stopped out. I've been told that's not too bad, so I wouldn't know, but thanks for sharing. I'm glad to hear it. So we do work hard. Okay, Sunday night, gap lower open. I was trying to share that on a chart before. Big gap. 2880 up to 85. Finally happened yesterday in that move up. And then the gap fill on the Dow, same story, filled yesterday. Russell, same story, filled yesterday. And the NQ. This is a note I put in last Sunday night. The 4 gap fill alerts above have not triggered yet, but eventually they will. Still valid. And we waited Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then yesterday it all came together. All right, and then we had a consider being short on crude. Thumbs up means it reached the target. An X means it got stopped out. And when you see the little Z's, that means it just never triggered. All right, so this crude ran to the target, final target. This one was stopped out. Here we have consider being short on the ES. Got there. Dow got there. NQ got there. Stopped out here. Short the NQ. It's a good bingo. Short the Dow. Here are the Z's. This one just never triggered. Now, in theory, I could just leave it open until eventually it does trigger. In most cases, it will at some point. But if I leave it open too long, then it starts to get in the way of new opportunities that are developing before it can get there. So at some point, I just draw the line and go, and I put in the Z's and go, we're just going to consider this one no trigger because we want to move on and be able to embrace other opportunities in the same market. The ES, number 1,861. That was a good bingo. Now we roll into the 15th. These are all the abbreviations that we use in the channel. TA, total alerts, actionable alerts, no trigger. FT, price reached the final target. SO, stopped out, still open. Probability factor. Tip, you'll see that on almost every alert, trail if possible. Session high, session low. It could also be swing high, swing low. But when I define it to the session, that makes it a little clearer. Weekly trading zone, WTZ, high of the day, low of the day, cancel. Google Plus. Thanks to the good folks at Trader HQ. That was very nice of you. And here's that video I was talking about earlier. The discussion group link. FAQ videos. These are the markets that we cover, in case you don't know. S&P 500, the Dow, Russell, NASDAQ, crude, gold, copper, bonds, soybeans, and occasionally I might put something out on the euro, or the British pound, Australian dollar, Swiss franc. So these are the things that the trial includes. And again, this is going to be the final public trial because of the sad reason that I mentioned earlier. That's how it goes. If you were to become a passport holder, right, I'll rephrase that because you'll get the live alerts 24/7 in the channel, Concierge Trade Alerts in the channel. Your weekly trading zones will come in the channel. And then you have access every trading day from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Monday through Friday. This is where we train. This is where you learn our methodology. This is where you learn how to use the indicator set and understand what it's telling you. Okay? It is so mission critical. We want our methodology, the way we see the market, our narrative, we want that to become the way you think. Because once it becomes the way you think, then you really don't even have to think about it. It becomes instinctual. Muscle memory. Memory muscle. Demo platform with live data, if you need it. Our proprietary indicator set, the one-on-one mentoring session, that was during the trial. Now, a passport holder has unlimited access to one-on-one mentoring, 45 minutes at a pop. Myself or Michael, depends upon if you have questions about the rules-based environment, you probably do a session with Michael. And if your question is more along the lines of the discretionary environment, well, then you would book the session. 2 sessions in 1 week at the beginning, because they just kind of want to get they want to get immersed, and then it trails off. Then it becomes 1 a week and 1 every other week. It's there, whatever you need, whenever you need it. All you got to do is book it. As a passport holder, you have unlimited access, and that doesn't expire. There's no caveat, no time frame, because a passport is for life. Our mentoring program is 90 days. The passport, which includes the mentoring program, never expires. Okay, Concierge Trade Alerts. We have a separate channel for that, but you'll have access to that as a passport holder each evening. And then we got back into more alerts, number 1889. And when you hover here, this came out Wednesday, May 15th. Now it says 5:27 p.m. on the screen. That's because Telegram is reading my computer clock. I'm on Pacific time. I'm in Phoenix, but I'm on Pacific time because Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. So 8 months out of the year, we're on Pacific. 4 months out of the year, we're on Mountain Standard. If you're in New York City right now, if you're looking at this exact same alert, yours is going to say 8:27 p.m. Okay? So make sure you understand that. So when you go through and look at these, you'll know what's going on. Long the Dow from 680 up to 760. That's 80 Dow points. Thumbs up. And the Russell, thumbs up. Copper. You know, copper's a pretty nice market if you've never traded it. A 1 penny move in the price of copper pays the trader $250 per contract traded. Next was the NQ again. T. The swing high on the first trigger. Now, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. We see many of the alerts trigger 2, 3, sometimes they trigger so many times you just lose track of them. In the beginning, I tried to recap all those secondary triggers, but it was just too much to keep track of. So now we recap it to just whatever the first move is. If it hits the target, great. If it gets stopped out, that's, you know, it is what it is. And then we just don't pay too much attention to the additional triggers. Not that we wouldn't trade them, I just don't drag them into the recap. So the swing high, the first time it triggered, was 28.53. And as you can see, the target was 28.54. So it didn't quite get all the way there. The second time it triggered, I think just a couple hours later, the swing high was 28.94. That's a 44-point move at $50 per point, $2,200 per contract traded. Now here's what I just said. For the record, we only officially recap the first trigger, even though important prices and important areas are almost always tested. By the second and third trigger, it just becomes too confusing to try to track. Here's one of the daily doubles from this week. It was on the S&P, and that one got stopped out. Another daily double on crude. This one did make the target. Long crude, 63.10 up to 63.50. This one, I'll have to take a look. It's not recapped. So I'm thinking it might be a no trigger, but I'll double check it and then I'll post it accordingly in the channel. This is a short on gold. I know this one did not trigger. This one's on the Dow, stopped out. S&P, no trigger. NQ, thumbs up. S&P, thumbs up. Dow, PT. NQ, thumbs up. That's a $400 per contract move there. Another PT, a stop out. Yes, made the final target. PT, full target on the NQ. No trigger on the Russell. And that brings us current right up through today. This came out, this last one came out at 10:05 a.m. This morning. So, based upon a preponderance of the thumbs ups, it was a nice week. And this just goes through Wednesday afternoon. Last Sunday night was good, and Monday was good, and Tuesday was good. And I'll ask Valerie to post the full recap of the entire week, not just the trial part, down in a video and put it somewhere. That sounds like a sterling idea. Good word for the day. What do you say? I think that would be appropriate right here, right now. So let's do it. Being there in the crisis, part 1. Those who offer comfort to the sorrowing should do so with Christian cheer. Romans 12:8. Now we know what that means, right? Those who offer comfort to the sorrowing should do so with Christian cheer. Act like you mean it, in other words. Now, sometimes we have a tendency to say, well, you know, that's not my responsibility. Oh, I'll never forget. When I was a kid, before I went into the Navy, I was 17, just 16. I just graduated high school. And I had a job at the Piggly Wiggly. It's really the name. If you're down south, you know that. But my father had been in grocery store management for some years. My uncle as well. So we were ingrained in the community there. My grandfather was a sheriff. My dad ran the grocery store. I got my job bagging groceries. This is back in the day when somebody bagged your groceries and then took them out of the car for you. Yeah. So I'm bagging groceries and somebody came over and said, there's a spill on aisle 2. It took about all of 15 minutes. Now, my dad was no longer in the grocery store business. He was, I think, in insurance at that point. working in another town, but it took him all of 15 minutes to hear what his son, his ungrateful son, had just said, and it really embarrassed him. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I just thought I was stating a fact. No, I bag groceries. It's not my job. I don't think I was being snide, but that's how it was taken. I realize now, I was in error. And when a job needs to be done, you just do it, whether it's your job or not. If it needs to be done, it needs to be done, so do it. Yeah. So, back to Romans 12:8. Sometimes when things come about, spill on L2, it's not my responsibility, I'm not getting involved. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called compassionate disengagement, which is the tendency to avoid helping someone in trouble. Let me ask you this. You're sitting in your lazy boy recliner, watching one of your favorite shows. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, rush hour traffic. You're so glad that you're not out there in that rush hour traffic. So thankful. An attitude of gratitude that you're in your lazy boy, watching your favorite show. You got the air conditioner turned down to about 73, 74. Yeah, you're living the good life. Phone rings. You answer it like you do. It's one of your buddies or relatives or somebody that you know. Their car has broke down in the middle of the rush hour traffic. They're trapped. Tow truck can't get to them. Maybe they're weeping a little bit or just angry and kicking the tires. And yeah, that's right. They want you to get out of your lazy boy, get in your car, and come rescue them. And all you can think is, oh man, I'm never going to answer the phone again. Not never. Right? We've all been there. You don't be ashamed. It's human nature. Our hearts are desperately wicked. It's in the book. So, compassionate disengagement, the tendency to avoid helping someone in trouble. Sounds pretty evil. So whether your motivation is inconvenience, self-protection, or indifference, it's wrong. Being there is how you demonstrate your love for God and your neighbor, and helping requires recognizing that there are, in fact, 3 kinds of crises. Now, there's no doubt that being stuck in rush hour traffic with a broken down car, when we were first learning that it was wrong to litter, many of us grew up, and if you had a burger, when you were done, you just threw the sack out the window. Now, I know some of you never did that, but some people did. And there was a commercial, a public service announcement. Chief Littlejohn, I want to think that's his real name, but the Indian chief, very regal, standing aside the road. I think he even had his headdress on. And a car goes by, and they do exactly that. They throw some, fast food sack out the window, and it rolls like right up to his foot. He looks down at it, and he looks back up at the camera. There's a single solitary tear rolling down his cheek. 3 kinds of crisis. Number 1, accidental or situational. These involve things like sudden threats to our well-being, disruptive events, unexpected losses, the discovery of a serious illness, the death of a loved one, a family breakdown, the loss of livelihood or security. The patriarch Job experienced all of these events together at the same time and wondered why God had allowed so many bad things to happen to him. 3 kinds of crisis of everyday life: moving house, adjusting to marriage, parenting, retirement, aging, declining health, the loss of friends. Abraham and Sarah moved many times. They also endured years of childlessness and family stress, including the challenge of God's request that they sacrifice the child of destiny, Isaac. accidental or situational crisis, developmental crisis, and number 3, oh yeah, the existential crisis. Now, these crises are when we face disturbing truths about ourselves. What? Yeah. We may see ourselves as failures. We may grapple with being divorced or widowed. Perhaps we learn that our illness is incurable. Perhaps we experience rejection because of our race, class, age, or gender. Maybe we realize that we may be getting too old to fulfill our life's goals. True helpers understand these crises, and they don't not answer the phone. They get involved. They encourage those in distress. Hey, I know the cars are whizzing by. I know they're honking their horn. I know they're throwing trash at you. Just get in your car, stay in your car, turn on the air, turn on some music. I'll be there. I don't know how I'm going to get to you. I may have to come in by jetpack, but I'm going to be there. Isn't that the kind of friends you want? I'll be honest with you. There's lots of times when I would not want me as a friend. Let me just say it. Because I'm that guy, and I might be, what was the word again? Compassionately disengaged. We all got to work on that, right? True helpers understand these crises. They get involved without a second thought, and they are a sense of encouragement to those in distress. Sure, you don't have to get up by your lazy boy, but think about the poor fellow or the poor lady, your friend, your relative. They're stuck in traffic, the horns are blaring, and people are throwing trash. These people, these true helpers, these hands and feet of God, these people keep their eyes open and are quick, I tell you, without a second thought, to offer comfort to the sorrowing. Romans 12:8. Those who offer comfort to the sorrowing should do so with Christian cheer. That's our good word for the day. I'm looking here in the chat box. Troy, hi Troy. Can the Logic 247 alert be on a smartphone? Oh, absolutely. The Telegram channel that I was just showing you, or the Telegram app, as it's called, there's a version for your desktop computer, Windows, a version for your Mac, a version for your Android phone, a version for your Apple phone, and versions for your tablet. So I'm covered wherever I go because I'm either at my desk or somewhere else, and if I'm somewhere else, I've always got my phone with me. So I think my family is pretty tired of hearing that little sound, that little Telegram sound. I have to remember to turn it off some of the time, put it on vibrate. But yeah, and it's free, and it's fast, and it's secure. There's no advertising. It's pretty awesome. It really is. So, yeah, Troy, in fact, if you reach out to Valerie, 949-42-EMINI, or email her, support@cfrn.net, she'll point you to where you can, if you just go to telegram.org, it just takes a moment to download it. And the only information you have to give them is a phone number that you can receive a text message at. That's how you get it all set up. That's how you're identified. And this whole messaging app business, the fact that we can be in constant contact with someone, if we want to be, 24/7, I don't care if they're in Beijing, that's amazing. Absolutely. Talk about a global village. The world has shrunk, it would seem. So, Troy, I hope to see you in the channel. Come on down, and you can Not only can you look at the alerts from this week, but in that trial channel, I think we had a couple other open houses, and the trial discussion group, if there's not 5,000 posts in there, or 10,000, I'd be highly surprised, because some of us just talk up a storm all the time, and we post charts, and I answer questions, and I teach, and it's a great place to be. So we'd love to have you. Come on, pay us a visit. All right? Okay. Now, it is the weekend. The CFRN charter states that if you're going to be a part of this community, when it comes to the weekend, you got to spend some quality time with your family. Okay? Okay. Of course, I'll see you in church on Sunday, except I won't see you in church this Sunday because I'll be in a different church. I'll be in Puerto Peñasco. That's right. I won't be here for the Globex Open Sunday night. Don't get mad. I'll be here. But again, it'll probably be about 9 o'clock Pacific time. It'll be like midnight Eastern on the East Coast. I may not, the Concierge Trade Alerts probably won't get out till 2, 3 in the morning Eastern. And then I got to stay up all night to get the weekly trading zones done so that they can be in all the passport holders' inboxes by 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Going to be a busy weekend. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell. Bell. Bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.